Welcome back. We're here in a little bit of a gray, cold morning, but it's supposed to heat up to like 40. It's going to be a heat wave this week. So, Western New York, that's a heat wave in November. But anyway, we had a really nice, beautiful fall so far. So, a little bit of snow, or a lot of snow in some places around here. But we're happy to be with you. And we're already up on to the first week of Advent already, believe it or not. And we're going back into year A. The new year for the cycle and everything starts on the first Sunday of Advent. So we go back to we go into the next year in the first week of Advent. So Teresa will read. We're in is it Matthew?
Yes.
We're in Matthew's Gospel now.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. In those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. They did not know until the flood came and carried them all away. So will it be also at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be out in the field. One will be taken, and one will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken, and one will be left. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on which day your Lord will come. Be sure of this. If the master of the house had known the hour of night when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and not let his house be broken into. So too, you also must be prepared. For at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus
Christ.
Excuse me. So we have this reading, and it's an interesting thing, and it comes into the daily life of anybody, but I think of it because on the one hand, we tell people to be very patient with themselves, to be very understanding of the thing that certain changes, spiritual, and we build virtue in somebody's life, habitual good things we want to add to our practices. They don't happen immediately. Someone says, well, I'm going to quit drinking, or I'm going to quit doing this, or I'm going to start doing this, and then they can't do it all the time, and they get mad at themselves. It's like, no, be patient, be patient, and be patient. And then we have readings like this that remind us there's some things we just can't wait till tomorrow to do, because tomorrow is probably in some sense the worst word we ever learn, because we say, oh, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow, and we don't know if tomorrow is given us ever. It's quite an amazing thing to think about. And in fact, in some sense, we hear these readings, and there's a certain element of fear that is generated from some of these kinds of readings. But the most fearful thing is what I just said, is we have to realize that tomorrow is not always a good way to live your life. Having said that, the first thing I said was, on a personal level, we have to also be patient with ourselves when it comes to growth and development, and we understand that with our children. You know, when you have a child and they're struggling with certain problems, you don't say with major issues, tomorrow it'll be fine. We might say it, we might know, but we probably won't know it's not actually true. Is that things we have to grow, we have to develop. You have to give people space and time to be formed, to change, to grow, to learn more, and we have to do that for ourselves as well. But there are certain things that we should not put off until tomorrow, and we know what they are. Every single one of you listening is going, yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm saying it about myself, thinking it. I'm thinking, you know, I've had that pile of papers on my desk for about 6 months now, and I think it's time to go through them and throw them out, or clean them, or do whatever. So we remember that. We remember that. Be very good to yourselves, but also vigilant, understanding and saying, give me, Lord, the grace to understand those the difference and the balance that I need to strike between those things which I should not wait for and those things that I have to be patient about. I think that's a good way of looking at it. I think that's a healthy way of looking at it. One of the things that pastors and I think probably counselors and therapists and stuff like that we deal with is exactly that. Is you don't want, you talk to one person and they're so hard on themselves that is the problem, that you're kind of saying you've got to slow down, you've got to be patient, you've got to do that. And then you meet with other people who excuse everything and say, I'll just put it off, I'll just do it later, it's fine. And you can see them kind of avoiding the things that they need to address. And this is the part of the source of the idea of the priest is all things to all people. When we come to meet with people, they're not dealing with the same things. It's not relativism. It's simply I'm not going to say to Amy what I need to say to Teresa and vice versa. It would be foolish. But that we look at that with anybody we're with, that the problems they present or the people that they are need to be responded to with some level of love and understanding for who they are. There are people who, you know, we get all kinds of nice sounds with the heating season and around here. So especially in the church, the boiler moos a little bit sometimes, you know. But we get into some kinds of things where especially when, well, I would say, I notice it among younger people, 20s and early 30s, but we're all fall victim to it, where we say, this is the rule, this is how I'm responding to people when they do this. But then someone doing that is not the same person as the next person who's going to be doing that. And you end up having to become wise instead of just sticking to your rule. I was never fell into that too much, but I fell into it enough to know about it. So we say, no, that's not going to work in this situation, and here's why. You've got to be very shrewd when you deal with the things, and I mean that in a good sense. You have to be very wise and shrewd and prudent, and when you're dealing with people, you have to always look at them and say, I'm going to love this person, number one, but I'm going to love them in the way they need it and the way they need to be loved, which might mean I'm going to come right out and tell them the truth. It might mean, okay, that won't work. I'm going to be very gentle telling them the truth, or saying they can't bear it now, so I'll be patient with them and guide them along the way. And you have this in large ways and small ways in the day-to-day in the parish, where people, when they come to you, you meet them where they are. And where they are is almost a greater question than who they are, in some sense, because if you're in Antarctica, no matter who you are, you need a coat. Take a coat with you if you ever go to Antarctica. And that's something that's a nice way of looking at it, is you deal with the personal needs first, and then you deal with the person, saying everybody needs a coat when they're in Antarctica, and in your case, you're going through other things too. All right, I don't want to get too crazy on that, but that's a decent metaphor, I suppose. So the first Sunday of Advent, we kind of get this idea to stay awake, stay alert. It's happening. It's upon you. Don't put it off till tomorrow. Think of something, you know, that you have been putting off. And probably most of you, when I say that, are going to realize that it's something you're actually avoiding. So, what is that thing, or what are those things, if you have more than one that jumps to mind? And make a real concerted effort to not wait. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Is a nice, good kind of axiom that we say to each other every once in a while, and it's right along with this. And then remember, on the other hand, when you're dealing with habitual problems and things that have to do with your personality and things that are ingrained in you, or if you're building some new virtue in you, you've got to be patient. They didn't build Rome in a day, as they say. Okay? But there's probably something else that you could do today that you have been resisting. So there you go. What is that thing? And see if you can make a way to find a way to bring yourself some healing on that concern. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you here. It'll get wild here in the next couple weeks during Advent, as we know. It's always wild here, no matter what time of year it is, and we've gotten used to it now after being here 5 years, for me anyway. Amy's been here longer.
Just a little bit longer.
She was before I did it. And Teresa's, is this the 3rd year?
Just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years, and and our finance director, he's been here, what, 20? No, he's a great guy. He's been here like 8 or 9. So we're very, very grateful, and but it's really wonderful to be with you, and have a great Advent.